Hey everyone, welcome to this full moon Sidereal astrology forecast for the full moon on Wednesday, July 13th, 2022. Alright, so we have a full moon in Sidereal Sagittarius. If you're expecting me to say Capricorn just then, be sure to check out the link down below for more information. We are using the visible sky on this channel called True Sidereal Astrology, and it's very different from mainstream astrology. Alright, so full moon, a halfway point of the lunar cycle, and in this case in Sagittarius the Centaur. So the Centaur is all about pointing with a sense of purpose towards things that we're inspired about, things we're hopeful about, these kinds of fire energies, right? Our passion, our inspiration, our possibilities. These are all really good indicators of what our spirit needs and our spirit guiding us. So Sagittarius is about becoming or, re-embracing or reconnecting to our spirited side, right? To the side that is adventurous, it is open-minded, it is free-spirited. And so anything around furthering to develop this side of ourselves or making some shifts and changes with this full moon to do so is fantastic. Now the full moon will be conjunct deep Pluto, so it is illuminating as well, perhaps some deep things that we can notice are holding us back. Things like fears, inhibitions, or maybe external things about reclaiming our power in some way. So this is about our true power. Pluto does tend to strip away the old power or the unhealthy ways of having power, attachments, the ego, things we want, things we think we want, right? The surface level sense. But Pluto does help us get deeper to the core of what we really do want and to perhaps make some empowering changes to do that. So reclaim that power. Empowering changes are all very much likely highlighted with this full moon as well. Now we'll be trining up to Neptune. It's quite supportive actually. Trine to Neptune is a bit of receptive energy. Maybe easy to go with the flow, maybe good for spiritual activities, things like this. And also some minor aspects to square up to Chiron and sextile up to Uranus we'll talk about. All right, so let's go and take a look at all of this here in more detail when we return. Alrighty, so here is the chart for the full moon. So the full moon will be on Wednesday, July 13th. The exact time will be around 1400 Eastern Time of the Americas. We are using topocentric on this channel, which is using the, again, visible sky and the surface of the Earth. So wherever you are on the Earth will change things a bit, but for all intents and purposes, it is going to be here around Wednesday. All right, and of course, as you can see here, we are using the actual size of the constellations, and so in mainstream they are saying that the full moon is in Capricorn, but if you do look up at the visible sky you will see it very well set inside of Sagittarius. So if you are new to this channel, definitely check out that link down below for more information. All right, so full moon, first of all, the heightened energy of the lunar cycle and usually awareness. We have that sun opposite the moon, so the outer and the external very separated. There's a rift, so we can become aware of both very distinctly. We could also think of it as the sun shining light and bouncing off of the feminine, so the masculine sun is bouncing off the feminine moon, and we get reflection, we get awareness, we get insight, and also heightened energy. And oftentimes great to make shifts and changes, because once we do get a new perspective shift, we do get some of that both physical and spiritual insight, we often will make shifts and changes. And so it really is a shifting time of incorporating these new insights for the remainder of the cycle, so for the next 2 weeks. But we could also look at this from a solar sense. About 6 months ago, in a yearly sense, we had the new moon in Sag, and so that would have been the time of activating that, and now we're at the halfway point of the year when it comes to this energy. So in either case, shifts and changes and incorporating energy through insight. And what we're becoming aware of now and what we could be incorporating is Sagittarius energy, the Centaur. So Sagittarius the Centaur is the half human, the half horse. And so this is very symbolic. Well, the horse side of it is very symbolic of the free-spirited nature. This is a fire sign, so it is about spiritedness. It is about adventurousness. It is about expanding our horizons. and then towards that sense of purpose with the archer, with the centaur pointing the bow and arrow. And so in this case, the purpose towards those things that do inspire us, because there is a unity here. There's, you know, in the middle, there is a, you know, what we're inspired towards, what we're spirited towards is a great indication of what our purpose is, right? And pointing and aiming that energy towards something. So we could be getting insights about what does inspire us, or, you know, what we're free-spirited about, and quite possibly that life purpose of starting to direct that energy towards these types of things. So in either case, though, doing a status check with our free-spirited side, how is it going? How can we further implement it? How can we continue to expand our mental and literal horizons, right? And now make those shifts to continue with that spirit, with that free-spiritedness, with that adventurousness, to expand our mind, you know, to possibilities, even philosophies, but also different views of life, and sometimes quite literally through adventure, or, you know, things that, you know, are more free-spirited literally. So great for that. And yeah, we'll likely notice major themes around that. Now, this is, of course, always balanced by the opposite sign of Gemini, which is also very much about perspective, but Gemini is very practical perspective. And so where we've had the Sun and Mercury here for about the past couple weeks, or a little more than the past couple weeks, there's been this more of a focus on the practical. Things like learning, gaining information, maybe things like communication as well, but the very left brain stuff. And so with any full moon to Sag, it's always good to balance it with Gemini, which is balancing that abstract free-spirited with the practical, right? And so in this way, anything that is both, you know, free-spirited, abstract, but also practical, you know, it's a great way of working with this full moon as well. And the Gemini does help us stay nice and grounded. The practical realm is what the free-spirited realm needs. In order to healthfully expand our horizons, we do need to stay grounded, of course, in the practical world. And so while there's a focus on that, there's also a pull towards the free-spirited, and so finding the balance is always great with these full moons. Now, the full moon will be conjunct Pluto, and this is perhaps the most important conjunction. Well, it is definitely the most important conjunction with the full moon. And in this case, Pluto is the ruler of the underworld, very deep planet that's been transforming our perspectives for many years now. It's been about over 15 years now, well over 15 years now, with Pluto transiting Sagittarius. And so this has been transforming our perspective collectively. And so now this is getting activated once again now with this full moon. And so activating the transformative energies, transforming our perspective on life, transforming our view, our worldview, and transforming perhaps our, quite literally, beliefs and things of this nature. But on a fundamental level, Pluto, especially in full moons, really exposes and helps us become aware of the deeper world, and fundamentally the deeper world of ourselves, right? And in oppositions, things usually get reflected back to us from our external environment, or from others, or relationships, or whatever it might be. And so it's a great opportunity to do this status check with this awareness, you know, to gain this awareness, make some shifts and changes that is about embracing this side of ourselves, the side that is connected and wants to, you know, face fears and empower ourselves and make transformations and changes. So while there's the exposing over the awareness of it, it's a great opportunity to be aware of these inhibitions or fears or what have you, and then make the shifts and changes that we may normally not make when these things are more unconscious or influencing us more stronger unconsciously, that might be preventing us from doing those things we really want to do, or, you know, again, reclaiming our power, because Pluto is showing us that true power comes from really what we might call non-attachment, when we're willing to die, so to speak, metaphorically speaking, or to allow for the death of the things in our life, or of the things that we want, right, metaphorically. So non-attachment, when we have nothing to lose, this is extremely empowering, and this is the kind of energy that Pluto works with. So anything that's about reclaiming that power, making transformations and changes, facing fears, to implement things can be extremely empowering and a great time to do so, and likely will be a very transformative time. Now, the exact oppositions won't be until early next week, around Monday through Wednesday, when the Sun and Mercury go into their exact opposition to Pluto. So it's going to take, of course, some time, but nonetheless, this week, great time for reclaiming that power, making some empowering changes in our life, and as a result, feeling healed, transformed, and of course, empowered as a result of that. All right, so that's the opposition to Pluto. We also do have a trine up to Neptune, which you could say is a very strong aspect as well. And so in this case, Neptune is the planet of receptivity and going with the flow and being more accepting. And this is double confirmed because Jupiter is the ruler of Sag. And so when we start to dissect the full moon, we can see that if we ever want more information on any sign, in this case, what's going on with Sagittarius, we look at the ruler. And the ruler is Jupiter. So Jupiter's through Pisces, the Neptune sign, the sign that deals with receptivity and going with the flow and acceptance. And so it looks like that, while this is a time of, reconnecting with our free-spirited side, how we're doing that, where we're doing that, in what way, is likely through the ethers, through connecting with our soul, through perhaps working with uncertainty in the oceans of life, to be listening to our intuition, to be, trusting the divine process, to have faith and trust, right? These kinds of things is about reconnecting to our soul, and perhaps even what's soul fulfilling, right? And what's going to ultimately lead to more peace in our life, right? And of course, the peace is always with us. So it's really living presently, or connecting to, God or the universe or all of us collectively. Pisces is really about connecting to the soup that connects us all and the ethers of that. And it really can't be understood, conceptualized, or named, but it can be really connected to, especially emotionally. And as a result, we are more willing to go with the flow, be more receptive, and things like that. So anyways, I'm sorry, not a trine, but a sextile with Neptune sextiling the moon, trining the sun, of course. But Neptune sextiling this full moon does give that supportive energy to that. Neptune, watery energy, that receptive, compassion, presence, energy, certainly available. It might be on some level, perhaps challenging, since Jupiter is here and it's through that area, but Neptune is in good harmony, which is supporting it. Okay, so along with that, we do have a minor square up to Chiron. It's very minor, not very strong. Plus, it's a minor planet here, what we call planet, but a comet. And so in this case, also in Pisces. And so this is just really confirming what we're saying about perhaps the healing side of things, challenging yourself to heal or transform in that receptive way, or by connecting to the ethers, or living more presently. Things like that. Also great to challenge ourselves with. And then also on a minor note, or actually perhaps on a stronger note, I think I got these backwards in the intro. But anyways, there's a trine up to Uranus. Okay, trine up to Uranus. And so this can be quite strong actually. And in this case, perhaps feeling a bit free-spirited in the sense of our individual self-expression, letting out our unorthodox side, our weird side, our unique side, the side that challenges the status quo, the side that challenges our own status quo. And in fiery Aries, this actually can be quite active, especially now with Mars well set in Aries. There's more of that fire, that directness, that assertiveness. And with this full moon, that could be coming through very supportively, and perhaps even, again, quite strongly. And so while it is that receptive energy of the, in the oceans, there's also this fire energy. In this case, I would say the fire of individual self-expression, of a support to embody that true self that wants to be our unique, unorthodox self, express our individual self-expression, and challenge the status quo or challenge existing frameworks for that type of freedom. So there is definitely that two types of freedom here, the Sag and Aquarius types of freedom, the Sag and Uranus types of freedom, certainly available with this full moon as well. All right, everyone, so that is the full moon in a nutshell. So most important thing is, of course, this status check of now reconnecting with the free-spirited side of ourself regarding Sagittarius, the Centaur, expanding our mental and literal horizons, And in this way, in facing fears or empowering ourselves to do so, and a lot of that getting illuminated for us to perhaps reclaim that power in some way with the full moon. We do have the sextiles to Neptune and the dispositor Jupiter in Pisces, which is suggesting that it's through the receptive realm, it's through the oceans, it's through having more acceptance about things that it can really support us in this full moon, living more presently, doing things that lead to more peace in our life, going more with the flow perhaps. Very supportive, can be supportive, and it's through that we can be really connecting to that spirited side. There is the trine up to Uranus in fiery Aries, which also suggests individual self-expression. Quite strong here with this. And of course, just remembering that whenever dealing with any Sagittarius energy, any free-spirited energy, it's always great to ground it in the practical world. So to continue to be focused on learning, be focused on perhaps exchanging with others, being interested, and practical. Can ground that free-spirited nature of Sag. All right, everyone. So that is the full moon in a nutshell. Hope you all have a fantastic full moon. Thank you again for watching. And if you're not yet signed up for MTZ Insiders, there is a newsletter sign-up form down below. You can check that out. But have a great full moon, everyone. And I'll see you all next time for the next astrology forecast. Take care.